Actually, we're making scandals, making spams, and using it in very to cheat on others, to make fake identities. So the whole thing is now we're not using it the proper way. But you go to the West, they are using it the very proper way. They make the marketplace. They make it for business. They do it for casting, for HR, for that purpose, HR purposes. So you see, we need to have some guidance to have the proper way, or to stop abusing the Facebook in the Arab region, especially in Egypt, after what you see now on Facebook.
Right. So one of the things before we head into a little bit about your book and also the predictions that you made throughout your book. But if as a researcher, if we look at both Facebook and Twitter being the most used social networks, so both of them have different approaches or technical approaches towards having their sort of blogs and ideas and posts on Twitter and Facebook. One of them is mainly dependent on sources or related more towards a credible source, which is Twitter, while Facebook is opening the space more for rumors, like you mentioned. So how would you evaluate technically both medias?
Actually, most of us didn't have the proper chance to deal with Twitter before the revolution. Everybody was using Facebook, and all the things that happened from Facebook. But they discovered that Twitter is faster, Twitter is shorter, Twitter is more sharp and getting the message to the point. And you can easily tweet and follow someone, and somebody follows you. And that helped a lot to spread the news if you want to make a small riot or whatever you want to do. So,
and if I may add, it also adds a credible source, because definitely if the account is the real owner, whatever you're retweeting or sharing is depending on the source.
Yeah, so there was no fake identities actually. But now we see now the Google Plus. Google Plus is taking place from Facebook and from Revolution, Twitter, sorry. So what you're going to see within 1 year, that Facebook will be declining a lot and Google Plus will take the place, because Google Plus is one-stop shop. It's giving you a mobile, calendar, email, and tweets, and because that they say circle instead of groups. So I think the future is going now for Google Plus. Twitter after the revolution took a lot of interest and captured a lot of interest, but now we see technology is ever changing. You cannot settle on one source and you say that this source is gonna last for 2 or 3 years. This is what you see now.
But the way it started, it was very good, but now it is something horrible. I mean, the words that we are reading now on the Facebook, that we are using very, very low words and descriptions for people and humiliating people and a lot of things. So why this change took place? How it happened?
Because
especially that we can never guarantee that this is the real person, for example. It is all virtual. You can never guarantee who is that person who is talking.
Yeah, that's very true. What you're seeing in the streets is what you're seeing on the net. There is no, actually there is no censorship, there is no guidance, there are lots of abuse. So what we were all asked in my 2 books that we must have, like the West, we must have a law to arrange and to make surfing the net safely and easily, and to stop all of these bad acts and bad behaviors, because people are using it since they know that there is no censorship, or there is no, I'm not promoting censorship, but I'm promoting, I cannot take your picture and make a fake identity and abuse your career, for example. I cannot do this if I have a law to enforce me and to punish me if I'm going to do things like that. I cannot spread bad words, and I cannot make problems between religions, between countries, if there is a proper way to stop all of these bad acts, all of this bad behavior, like what they do in the West. We don't have a law to stop these bad acts. We don't have actually a law in the street.
If a person insulted another person or used some words on the Facebook, for example, you cannot suit him. He has no right to take his...
It's like what's happened in England and the United States. You can never insult someone. You can never insult a religion or a race or a profession. You can never do this. If you do this, they can put you in a lot of trouble. But we can do whatever you want. That's the problem. You don't have anything to stop you. If you have nothing to stop you, you can do whatever you want. And this is sadly, this is what's happening here.
So if you go back to your book, you've written 2 years back before the revolution, the face of the book, and one of the things that you had, that you predicted that there is going to be a sort of a revolution at the time that we're living now. So if you can tell me more about the segment and your further predictions.
What happened is what we say that what happened at April, 6th of April 2008 is a rehearsal for a big revolution. Why? Because youth cannot live the proper way. There is a lot of misguidance. They cannot find a job. They cannot live. They cannot have a proper food. Everything is going to that same direction. That people cannot have a good living, so they will go to a revolution. And what had happened at that year, 2008? You see how the anger was motivating the people and pushing the people. This is what we predicted. This is why we predicted. We said it's gonna be a big revolution. It's gonna happen somehow. If you do not stop the region that's going to make this revolution to explode.
What do you think is coming?
What I think is coming is we need a big leader who understands technology very well, who can guide a lot of people, who has a very great team that he can lead a teamwork to reduce the gap between the government and the authorities and the people, especially the youth, since they are the big motivator of all of what's happening now. So we need a proper leader who understands technology, who is coming from the streets, who understands the problem, the daily problem that we are facing day by day. So somebody is coming from the same environment that.
So obviously, this is not going to be happening in the next 4 years, at least.
Hopefully, if we see someone who's keen to do something for the country, not for himself.
You predicted the revolution, right? But what about your expectations for the upcoming? What will happen?
It's very sad and it's very dark. If we didn't stop.
You expected it to be like this?
If you keep it like this, it's going to be worse. If you didn't stop the things, if you didn't have
mechanism to maybe to meet the demands of the revolutionaries and the protesters.
People need to be guided and motivated and inspired. You don't have a project like the High Dam in the 60s to inspire people and take out the energy and anger from them and put it at the right way. You don't have all of this. You're leaving the people spontaneously do whatever they want, and you don't punish them, you don't stop them, you don't arrange anything, so you leave it up to them. So everybody and every day you're going to see something different, and it's all going the same direction, complete set of chaos. And there is nothing I can see that is going to stop it unless you have agenda for stopping all of this, for promoting security, for helping people, guiding people, inspiring them, be high-tech, using the proper way of technology, the proper way to use it, the way we're using now. So what we're asking for is a big leader with a big project that can help us this way. Otherwise, if you leave it this way, it's going to explode more. It's going to be more worse and more, sadly, more dark actually.
How are you evaluating, being an advertisement, also a marketing expert, how are you evaluating the way the presidential campaigns and the presidential candidates are using the social networks within their campaigns?
Okay, I'm not going to say a name, of course. One of them was promoting himself as the chairman of Jazeera Club. You cannot say anything more than this. He was putting his picture, putting fake pictures about the future that's going to happen after it's electing him. Other people were using the social network in a very bad way. They were promoting rumors about the others. They were using hackers to stop others' campaigns. And they were saying very bad words. And unfortunately, they start by religious verses. They start by religious verses and ended up by spamming and by spitting on people. And that was not good, actually. There are some people, they played it very smart, but actually for the time being, internet is not enough. You need proper outdoor campaign, proper outdoor locations. There are people used it in a very nice way, but they were not capable enough to capture awareness of a huge amount of people. One of them was using it very, very professionally. Actually, the two candidates that we see now, they managed to use it in a very professional way. I could see on outdoor campaigns. And actually, why outdoor is important? Because we are all on the streets. So FM and outdoor is very important. I cannot predict which TV channel you'll be seeing at night, but I know that you're gonna walk or drive in the same street that we are in. So streets and outdoors are very important. Everybody opens his PDA or his laptop, so there's a big chance to see the campaigns they are using on the internet. Some of them use blogs in a very nice way. Some of them they're using not at all at any professional way or decent way. Actually, I may say this.
So do you think that was one of the elements of both candidates who are heading towards the runoff for the presidential election? These are one of the elements of their success, having an effective campaign.
Yeah. Actually, one of them have used two different advertising agencies and one media agency to help them a lot. The other used volume. Volume and frequency and intensity is very important. Actually, for the Egyptian, when you keep on nagging, keep on saying the same thing, keep on frequenting the campaign. So the other one used.
Can you share which is who?
You want to say names?
Yeah. Muslim Brotherhood's
used two agencies,
yes,
and one big media agency. And Morsi used the heavy frequency and the heavy reach. So heavy frequency was very good. Actually, the other campaigns they were using are promoting food for people and promoting the concept that the future is us. We are gonna get you a hell of money. Everything is gonna be happen very well, very soon. So people they used to believe promises.
And from the technical and marketing expertise, which one do you think is more effective than the other?
Shafi was very effective. Shafi used the very thing. He used his facial expressions on his campaign. You get very close to his face, you see lots of kindness and sharp and integrity.
Elegance, yes.
And also he wrote his name in a freehand. I'm not using computer in this because I'm one of you. He was saying to people more that he was one of you. The other one was very good in his campaign. He used very outdoor location, very good outdoor location. But the other things on TV, they are both equal somehow. On radio, Shafi was better. But it's an integration. It's an integrated effort. The nicest thing that Shafi did is I will not put my eggs in one basket. How can I tell that this agency is the best one? I should use more than one agency. This is what he did exactly. One of the previous candidates used non-Egyptian agency. How could you get non-Egyptian agency to promote you among Egyptians? And he was a complete failure. How could you put pictures take it from the internet that everything is going to be fine, that oil field will be more, that agriculture is going to be enhanced, and you're putting this fake pic under your name and very bad shooting for him. It was not very good at all.
So that's the first phase. That was the first phase.
Yeah. But the second one, they deserve to reach what they are now. They deserve, because everyone exerted a hell of an effort about this, and they were using the medium or the proper way as it should be, especially Shafi.
Right, finally, Dr. Jamal Muktar, thank you very much for joining us. It was a pleasure to talk to you tonight.
Thank you.
And now let's check out this report, and we will be back to resume the Nile cruise.